Hey, Honors Algebra 2 kids. I just wanted to go through, I had a couple people ask me about question 132 from the Solve Any Trig Equations. I thought I'd just do a video of how to solve it because I had quite a few people ask me about it. All right, so anyway, the first thing you're going to do, you might want to notice that it's not like cosine of an angle, it's cosine of 3t. And I did go over one in the video, but basically what you want to do is you want to go ahead and isolate. So I'm going to add 1 to both sides, and then I'm going to divide by 2. So I get cosine of 3t equals a half. At this stage, what I want to do is, because I really don't know how to solve for cosine of 3t, what I'm going to do is I'm going to let x equal 3t. And what that means is I'm just going to rewrite this equation. So cosine of, instead of saying 3t, I'm going to say cosine of x equals a half. And I'm going to solve this equation. I just replaced 3t with x. And I'm going to solve this equation like I normally would. So if I want to know when cosine is positive, cosine is x. X is positive in quadrants 1 and 4. And if the x value, if the adjacent side is a half, and so that means this is a half, what angle must I be talking about here? Well, if this is a half, then this angle has to be 30, which makes my reference angle that I'm referring to as 60. And so we all know that 60 degrees in radians is pi over 3. And then since it's in this quadrant as well, we know that in the fourth quadrant, a 60-degree angle would be 5 pi over 3. All right, the other thing I want you to pay attention to was I asked for your angle measure to be less than or equal to, so I said equal to 2 pi, so basically between pi and 2 pi. So what that does is it kind of eliminates this choice right here, because obviously pi over 3 is not between pi and 2 pi. All right, now that we know that, this would be our answer if this is actually what we're solving. But because we're not actually solving for cosine of x, we're solving for cosine of 3t, I have to do one more step. And the step is, I know that in this equation, x is going to equal 5 pi over 3, right? Because that's my answer. That's what I solved when I got this. So now I'm going to go back up here, substitute in 5 pi over 3 for x, and solve for t. Because ultimately my goal is to actually solve for t. So remember I said x equals 3t, but this time I'm going to substitute in 5 pi over 3 for x. And then I'm going to multiply both sides by a third to get rid of that 3. So I get 5 pi over 9 equals t. And this would be my final answer, because ultimately what I'm trying to do is solve for t. All right, hopefully that helped. If you have any other questions, let me know. Thanks.